Okay, it says we're live, and of course nothing ever fucks up around here, which is why I go live a few minutes early. Good. It actually did work exactly on time for once. That's a nice touch. Boa, I saw you out there, bro. And yeah, well, I hope I have a good stream too. Hope you catch the reruns. Okay, the invite code is out. But if I don't know you, don't bother. I'm going to say no before I said yes. I really hate to do this. So I was going to be addressing some Ukraine-related issues, propaganda issues. Both sides are guilty. Don't bother. But I got to do something else instead. And I got to beat a dead horse. All right. Uvalde, Texas. This kid got a gun. Where he got it and how, I don't care. I really don't care. And I notice with increasing alarm, increasing personal alarm, that they're not telling us a whole lot. In fact, they're basically telling us nothing of value. They keep saying assault rifle. Okay, well, an assault weapon of any sort has a very distinctive characteristic pattern, all right? It's like cats and dogs. You cannot breed a cat and a dog together, all right? They are distinctly different. They have a lot in common, but they have a few very, very important details that are completely different. Hey, Chris, hi. Okay. You're listening in. That's great. Focus on the road, of course. So if you don't say anything again in the chat, I totally prefer it. Okay. All right. So cats and dogs. You can't breed a cat and a dog together. It doesn't work that way. It has never worked that way. So why would you say that you were mauled by a cat when it was a dog? All right. Going away from the analogy towards the actual. In this case, it was a rifle of some sort. Now, I've actually heard 4 different types mentioned. I've heard M1, which is clip fed, so I don't understand. Okay, flag on the play. There's actually 2 M1 rifles. So let's just hover in that area for a while and make an assumption of good faith that it would have been an M1 carbine. Okay, great, good. I get it. AK-47, AR-15, and an M5. For those of you who have been keeping up with the news better than I can, M5 is the not quite yet the designation for the new Army main infantry rifle. Okay. Now, I'm going to get into that a little bit further down the road. Short version is I made some big mistakes in my understanding of the new rifle. Okay, I eat that. I did it. I'm okay with it. And it is what it is. He could have gotten his hands on a civilian version, which is out there. But to turn those into an assault weapon of any sort would have required a modification. Now, I know people who have the permits, licenses. It's a license, I think, to do that sort of work. But they also have to keep absolute control of the weapon. And okay, these are also the sort of people who don't go on mass shootings. They don't have anything indicating a history. that would imply that they might. Okay, that was point one. Point two, otherwise it was an illegal modification. So this is somebody who was bound and determined to commit a crime anyway. He committed 2 crimes in the process. I acknowledge that modifying some of these weapons to automatic and automatic only, by the way, is much easier than certain other types. In particular, the M1 carbine, there's kits still out there that are perfectly legal. Yes, I said that out loud, to purchase. They were World War II surplus. The Army, the Marines, the Navy, and the Coast Guard. At the end of the war, as they have all these extra guns they don't need anymore, they pulled that kit out, set it off to the side, sold the rifles as surplus. Okay, so now it's not an M2 carbine, it's an M1 carbine. They also sold the kits as surplus. Okay, so if you bought the rifle and the kit and reinstalled it at that time, it may have been legal. I don't quite understand NFA that well. I admit that. But by 1987, that installing that kit on that rifle would have been illegal. Period. End of discussion. Don't even bother. All right. That would cover just the M1 story, though. It's still a crime to have installed it, so he's still in the same ball of shit. Now, it keeps being described as an AR-15 style. Okay. There is no legal way to obtain an automatic or burst fire version of an AR-15. No practical way, at least. You'd still have to have it registered because you transferred ownership. You had to go through a background check somewhere. At the end of the day, yeah, this kid committed 2 major felonies. 1 major felony just to have this firearm. That goes a lot to something I'm going to say later on, but moving right along for now. So either the Texas Department of Safety is lying to us, which is, I'm just going to go there and say, yeah, they're lying to us, or this kid committed a felony before he even started his day. Okay. Either way, we need to actually find out. And nobody's saying a whole lot about that. They just keep saying AR-15 style assault weapon, or sometimes assault rifle. Okay. Well, the fact that they're not showing us the proof of what it was has me completely suspicious. Absolutely, totally, 100%. I don't believe you. The worst part is, at this point, I wouldn't believe them if they did, because there's been such a history of saying these words and they're not true, and hiding the evidence, and in some cases deep, right? They destroyed the San Bernardino rifles the same day that they were, the day they were recovered, because they did not want the public to find out what kind of weapons these really were. It's as simple as that. You're lying to us. All right. To that end, I'm going to stop the chat share and switch over to Daetslov. And this is not the only time I'm going to switch over there today, but it's going to be the first time and the one you really need to see, at least at this point. There we go. Right. Section 3, general definitions. Firearms, pistols, long arms, shotguns, assault weapon. Oops. Any firearm fed by a magazine detachable without the use of tools. I am going to assume good faith and say that, yeah, it was something that was fed by a magazine detachable without the use of tools. Capable of discharging by design alone 2 or more rounds per singular trigger activation. One of these days I have to go get around to making the exemption for double barrel weapons, but in the meantime, it is what it is. All right. And there. See, it's nice and highlighted for everybody. There we go. Nice and highlighted for everybody, right? Now I'm a little bit on the mad side. Watch this shit. Under Title 4, penalties, Section 4, any person who willfully ignores any part of this act upon first violation, fine not more than $100. So already every single person who's repeated this assault weapon words would be fined not more than $100 so far. Upon second and subsequent violations, $500. Okay, that's not good. Upon fourth and subsequent violations, incarcerated not more than 23 months and 28 days, and $1,000 fine. This includes failure to carry as required, carrying as prohibited, and the use of terminology contrary to this act by anyone in a professional capacity. It'd be one thing for Joe Jackass on Twitter to say, "Oh my God, he had an assault rifle." It's something very different for the governor of Texas or Robert O'Rourke to be saying it. There's a little bit more in there, but it's not relevant here. I'm scrolling back up because I had to change today's plan a little bit. Oops. Back one. There we go. And back to the regularly scheduled shit. Remove that one for now. And go back to, I see you out there, by the way. Swatch. Oops. Nope. Share. Stop screen. Share. What the flying fuck shits? Okay. Give me a second, folks. I'm having some technical difficulties. Nothing ever fucks up around here. Share screen. There you go. Windows. Funny name. YouTube asked if Sasquatch was satisfied with this notification. The look on the smiley tells me the answer was probably not. Size of okay, Chris, I'd really rather you not chat if you're trying to work at the same time. Right? I don't want to be responsible for you crashing or losing your job. That'd make me feel bad and maybe horrible. And not that order. But guys, just to be here, I would never ever want you to get in some sort of trouble. All right. There's a couple of you that guns is literally your job. You could take this time off on your taxes. I'm not exactly sure how. Is it the Wi-Fi or the internet, or literally just stop working for a couple hours? Go go on the internet and say, well, yeah, you're right. I was listening to a wacko on the internet talking about guns, but he's talking about policy matters. So that's related to my business. Your IRS agent will say, really? Hey, you want to see it? Here it is. It's every Thursday at 0800 California, Washington, and Oregon. I always default to California because I grew up in California. Okay. So, I mean, if you want to watch next week, here's all the information you need. And I'm totally cool with being thrown under that bus. I'm telling you, throw me under that bus. All right, guys, throw me under that bus. Claim this on your taxes. They may not approve it, but at least give it a shot. The best part is you could keep working and claim the time off on your taxes, because how do they know? Especially for those of you like DMFOS, and I think G23, and I'm only half sure Ghost Tech don't actually work at a computer or something in sales. They in the back shop working on equipment. So I was listening, I was watching. Don't recommend this video, by the way. Don't recommend this live stream if you're one of those people. Anybody else, you're in great shape. All right. Yes, Troll, I saw you out there. You see, guys, Troll Patrol here is doing exactly what I just got finished saying not do. Not often I do this, guys. I chat while I'm working too. See, guys, don't do that. I don't want you to get fired. Unless you're somebody that can actually stop and chat. Then we'll talk later. All right, moving right along. Don't recommend this video in general. No, you know what? This is, unless you're dealing with the IRS and your taxes, this is one to definitely recommend. We're going to start right about here, being where you really want to start. The only person at Uvalde and San Bernardino and Sandy Hook, and well, not quite Pulse. I'll talk about Pulse in a moment. And was the guy with the gun that came there to kill people. Right? How many times have we seen this happen? It's a gun-free zone. And so everybody there was disarmed. You can't fire Troll. He's here as my guest. And it just keeps repeating. All right, let's talk about the times that it didn't go that way. There's the hospital in Pennsylvania. God damn it, somebody drop it in the chat. I forgot the name. It's related to some religious organization, or at least the name implies it is. All right. A psychiatrist, which means medical doctor, has been contracted by, I think it was the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections, to evaluate somebody for release. He was going to be there with his social worker, and he knew that this guy was not going to get news he wanted to hear. Now, to this day, I have not actually heard what was that news. Only that the doctor understood this guy was not going to like what he heard. The hospital was a gun-free zone. This is back before hospitals were de jure gun-free zones. And the doctor took his gun with him because he knew this guy was not going to like what he heard. He was really not going to like what he heard. What I do understand is he was going to recommend the man go back to prison. Okay. He put the gun in his briefcase. He's a doctor. Of course he has a briefcase. He has to have his case files somewhere. And if he's going to go home and work on them, he's got to have them somewhere safe. I'd be very surprised if that briefcase was not handcuffed to his wrist on the way home. I also wouldn't be terribly surprised if it wasn't, but that's not the point here. The point here is put the handgun into his briefcase. Told the man the thing he didn't want to hear. The man whipped out a gun, shot the social worker dead. She didn't even live long enough probably to understand what had gone wrong here. And then started shooting at the doctor as he's running out the door. The doctor, because he had a little bit of a warning as this guy went to shoot the social worker, ducked behind his desk, retrieved his firearm, and started shooting back. That forced the man to change his plans. His plan was to kill them and escape. Now he's fighting for his life because somebody's shooting back at him. 1 shot, 6 shots. I don't care. The doctor shot back. That forced him to stop the man to stop and fend off the counterattack. And that's when he got literally crushed under a dozen people. I had a brief chat on Discord with somebody who was a witness and described it as fuck ton of people jumped him. Oh, that's a fuck ton. Apparently that's a scientific term for significantly more than 6,000 pounds. Hey, Warsaw. These are crazy times. You're right. It's going to get worse, by the way. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, too. Love you, Susan. Let's talk about the next case I happen to be aware of. Westfield Shopping Town, Clackamas, Oregon. This shopping center, this mall, was in unincorporated Clackamas County. I was living in Polk County at the time. So I'm a little bit familiar with Clackamas, not as familiar as possibly I could be, because I couldn't tell you where this mall was to save my life. The mall was a designated gun-free zone. Nick Melly went in there to meet with a woman and her child. Now, what other relationship they have, I don't know. This could be a sister. It could be a former coworker who just quit. It could be a new employer. Maybe he's being hired as her bodyguard. Maybe this is his girlfriend and their kid. I've heard that one too. Maybe just a random person he met right then and there who happened to have her child with her. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't. It's really none of nobody's business, right? He had ignored the gun-free zone signs. He had his Glock 22 with him. When the Clackamas shooter came charging through, this was just before Christmas of 2014, 2013. 2013 or 14, I can't remember. I don't know what it was that Nick noticed that made him realize that there was a shooting going on. But he told her to hide behind something, pulled out his Glock, and started to present. He didn't actually shoot back, and that creates a little bit of controversy. Okay, I get it. No, actually, no, I don't, but we'll just pretend I do. Clackamas was looking in the direction of, excuse me while I roll my eyes at having to be not mind reading here, but anyway, was looking in the direction of Nick. My understanding is he turned to the left, ran straight for the nearest splatter well, and I'm not going to make Apple's life difficult today and describe what happened next. It's not worth it, especially since we all know how that shooting ended. There is security footage of Nick there that day. He's being he's in a line with what I believe to be Clackamas deputies being shown to go out this way. Everybody they know is not the shooter. Maybe at this point they know who the shooter is, or at least where the body is. They've got that under control, and they're very clear. It's one shooter, no more. Clackamas, above all others, was a mass shooting that was ended by somebody with a gun. He made exactly the standard. 3 people shot. Was it 1 or 2 dead? If you happen to know, drop it in the chat. Pretty sure it was 1. But it was at least 1 dead, 3 shot. That's my standard. And it ended at that because he ran into the wrong motherfucker. He ran into the wrong victim. And he realized he was not going to get the high score today. All right. I've got to catch up with chat because it's moving a little bit faster than I am. And in other news, water is wet. No, you can't fire Chris either. Troll, I can tell your boss to fire you. I really could do that. I don't think she'll listen, but God. All right. On to serious subjects. Gun-free zones really work. Oh, unless you don't follow the laws or can't read. Gingerbread Mon. God, Jesus Christ. Squatch. There we go. I'm so fed up with watching other in America. Oh, it's fed. Warsaw Patriot says, I am so fed up. I'm so fed up hating watch other in America. You know what? I'm going to skip that for now. Could you please rephrase that? That's another reason why if you're working or driving, I prefer you focus on working or driving so that you don't end up sounding like me. I'm burned out and I'm tired out. We need to come together and heal. Doesn't mean stop fighting for the Second Amendment. Wow. What a concept. 2 things can mean the same thing at the same time. Troll Patrol says, I'm not giving up anything, just tossing that out there. But I'm tired of fighting Americans versus Americans. Squatch says he lost his guns in a tragic boating accident. I lost mine in a divorce. I don't own a boat. Troll doesn't own a boat. And neither do I. Papa Carey does, though. Squatch! Talking about terrorist bomb or just normal? negotiate with a terrorist. Can. That's kind of true. Only one that listens, I can't be fired. Okay, Squatch, we get it. Redhead jokes today. Okay. So I'm caught up on the chat. Despite Squatch trying to distract me with bad jokes. They are. They're bad jokes there, Squatch. Please. Horrible jokes. Well, let's move on. If nothing else, we have one absolute example of a mass shooting that ended because somebody had a gun. There is allegations that Nick either wasn't there. Well, no, that's disproven by the security footage. So fuck you. Or that he didn't shoot. Well, no, he said he didn't shoot because he was concerned about people downrange, people behind the shooter. Okay. I get it. I understand. And after Daetslov passes, that will be a real thing. You will have the absolute perfect opportunity to take out a bad guy and pass it because there were people behind him. You will not be held accountable for that. You also will not be held accountable if you take that shot and somebody else dies as a result. Okay, that's unfortunate. That is terribly unfortunate. That's also not on you. You're not the one that brought the violence. There's a section that covers exactly that. As long as you acted in a reasonable fashion, 2 shots to force him to either kill him outright, I'm up, fine, fuck him, or to force him to go for cover, okay, you totally missed him, like by a mile. And he was forced to go to cover, okay, and somebody else got shot as a result of your bullet. Yeah, it was your bullet. You're not the one that brought the violence. With the grace of God, go home and work on your aim, or maybe on your judgment a little bit. Grace of God, go home. Squatch wants me to shoot hostages. No. Troll, you know better. You're in a neighborhood where I'm only watching my language a little bit because Apple's watching all the time. Moving right along, though. So Nick did not take that shot. Okay. But to come up with a story, that he didn't have the gun at all, or that he didn't do it all, yeah, that's a little extreme, guys. He ended the shooting. Explain this to me. Clackamas entered the building with the gun. And you notice I keep referring to him as Clackamas. I know his first name starts with the letter J, and that's all I'm going to say. Don't actually know his last name off the top of my head. It is what it is. You notice I keep referring to him as Clackamas. Well, I'm going to come back to that too. Either way, Clackamas entered the building at a very stressed time of the year, was reportedly still high on pot. Okay, he'd been smoking pot that day. He'd stolen the gun, and you want me to believe that he intended to go through that building and only shoot 3 people? Under those circumstances, what planet are you on? You could not pay me to haul off a bullshit story like that. You also couldn't pay me to haul off or to carry the story that Nick actually was there and did present, and Clackamas turned and ran. A righteous man is steadfast before the Lord. The wicked flee when no danger presents, but the righteous man is steadfast before the Lord. Okay, I'm going to die today anyway, but at least I'm dying with a clear conscience and I'm taking you with me. You cannot imagine how many people have had that as what they thought was going to be their last earthly thought. Okay. That's the truth. All right. I promised to address the question of why I keep referring to him as Clackamas and Boston. And this one is now Uvald. That is his name, Uvald. I know I read his real name Tuesday by accident. I apologize to all you out there. I know I should have been more careful. That is my fault alone. And I can't undo it now. Well, I can, but I have to lie. In a certain sense of the word. I don't want to. It is what it is. In the wake of the Boston bombing, which was, okay, stop, Carrie, back up. Well, I'll just read it. How about that? Okay, so I got to stop this screen and share a different one. Share screen. Edge tab. Aha, that one. Make sure it's coming through correctly. Excellent. Looks like it is. Oops. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit strange. I really need to get a second watching system. Song is Legion of Monsters. I was only reminded about this last night because it came on. It was on my MP3 player. But anyway, Legion of Monsters by Disturbed. Album, Immortalized. See, right there. Word is immortalized. And what's that? That is 2015. That's the year the album came out. Okay. Well, so what? Here we go. Song facts. Vocalist David Draymond explained the song's meaning to Artist Direct, the tendency for society to create maniacs by glamorizing them and making them larger than life. People like the Boston bomber, which is why I referred to the Boston bomber, who are plastered on the cover of Rolling Stone. That's true, he said. That is exactly what these people are looking for. They are looking to be martyred and to die and be remembered for what they died for. They're looking to be remembered. Whether they die or not is usually less important. Anytime these maniacs kill children or whomever, see, I noticed whomever, not whoever. It isn't the victims who are on the screen, Draymond continued. We have to know more about the shooter or the person who committed the act. You know what? I don't need to know anything more about him except he's a maniac. If somebody did that, leave it to the FBI. Public knowing all just encourages a new generation of wannabe maniacs to do the same thing, to get the same glory, to die in infamy. The media continues to breed a new legion of monsters. You might have caught a little bit of a choke right there. You wouldn't be wrong. Yeah. And that is absolutely true. I said something to the effect Tuesday that give me a second, guys. Okay, it's working. Tuesday I said something to the effect of Joe Biden killed those people. And, well, yeah, he was the mastermind of the conspiracy to commit mass murder. He was. That's true. But it was a conspiracy. I want to tell y'all something about conspiracy. A conspiracy is any plan to engage in a criminal act involving two or more people. I plan to go rob a bank. Okay, great, good. That's on me. But it's not a conspiracy because Troll Patrol here doesn't even know that I'm robbing a bank or that I've even had this idea. Because how many times have I said rob a bank is an allegory or analogy or example or whatever word you want to use here for any kind of crime? Troll's totally clueless, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Since he's late, I'm going to pick on Bernie. Me and Bernie have decided that we're going to go rob this bank. Now it is a conspiracy. Some more things about conspiracy. First of all, it doesn't have to be a universal understanding, right? The best conspiracies have at least 2 points of separation. Al Capone himself personally did not say, not Bugsy Malone, shit. The leader of the Chicago Irish gang will be at his garage on Valentine's Day, and I want you to take him out. He said, I want him taken out. That's it. He turned to one of his lieutenants, who turned to one of their lieutenants, who turned to their worker bees. The boss wants the leader of the Irish gang taken out. We're going to figure this thing out. He goes to one and says, I need intel that tells me where the leader of the Irish gang is going to be and when he's going to be there. This guy has no idea why. He might actually not have a clue. Why does the boss care where or maybe he's not that smart. My boss wants to know where the leader of the Irish gang is going to be and when he's going to be there. Huh. Well, okay. Well, I can figure it out. I got sources. Turns to another guy. Once he gets that information, says, hey, the leader of the Irish gang is going to be at his garage on Valentine's Day. And the boss does not like him being there. Take care of it. This I think the proper term is capo or captain. Did not say massacre anybody. Did not say kill anybody. Said he wants it taken care of. This guy isn't even this street soldier isn't even going to carry it out himself. No, he's going to contract it out to somebody else. Hey, I need you to go to this address, go into the building, kill everybody. That's it. That's all I need you to do. The street soldier didn't even say how to do it. The contractor, comes up with a plan. Okay. I can get my hands on a couple of Chicago police uniforms. That's easy. And we can go in there posing as a couple cops. Once we got them all up against the bulkhead, it's over. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what the Supreme Court referred to as a meeting of the minds. No specific words passed down correctly, but everybody understood. Capone wanted him taken out. Joe Biden is the head of a conspiracy to commit mass murder. The conspiracy is between him and other members of the gun control community, which, by the way, I was part of for a long time, and the media. The media knows by now hyping these cases creates more. And they were called out as far back as 2015, right? At least by 2015, somebody stepped up and said, no, you can't keep doing this. You're just making more of these people. Now, I know it happened a long time before that, and I'm sure every last one of you is going to say, oh, CNN talked about that in 2001, 2000, just on the anniversary of Columbine. Because I think it was discussed on the anniversary of Columbine on CNN. I can't look you all in the eye and say that is an absolute, but I seem to recall either that or 2001. Oh, Bernie, I'm going to address that in a second. Oh, sorry about that, guys. But by 2015, it was publicly called out in a way you can't forget, ever. You will never, ever forget. Because it was put to lyrics and tune. It will be remembered 1,000 years from now. Some jackass is going to be digging through an ancient repository of old songs. Hey, what's this? A Legion of Monsters? And it will be as antiquated to him as Mary is a little lamb is to us today. That's the truth. And he's going to hear this song and say, hey, I think we need to talk about this. Okay. One, but the count is 4 and costs $70,000, $700,000. I'm not sure what that was about. Okay. Welcome to the party. Thanks. Exactly. Cheap. Squatch. Pretty sure. Okay. Bernie says, I'm pretty sure under mafia etiquette, some things are just understood. That's the way it is throughout the world. The difference between mafia etiquette and, by the way, military and paramilitary etiquette and world etiquette, normal world etiquette, in these worlds, you sometimes have to be taught the rules, right? If somebody is a friend of ours in the mafia, that means that he's part of the organization. He might be some low-level mook, I think that is the word they use, which is cannon fodder. Right? It's just cannon fodder. Or he might be the boss of all bosses, way the hell back in Sicily, where he can make demands that are just absolutely ridiculous. But if he's a friend of ours, he's part of the mob. If he's a friend of mine, he might just be a friend. But he's a friend of mine. We grew up together. This, that, or whatever. Or he might be a recruit. An unaccepted recruit. You don't talk about business in front of him. You don't know if he's okay yet. As a recruit at Cape May, I had to be taught some rules about military etiquette, like the proper way to salute and who to salute and under what circumstances. While you're at Cape May, there are 3 enlisted who you would salute, right? So, training senior chief, I believe, was her title. I remember she was a QMC, quartermaster. And then the next, I can't even remember what the other two were. I talked to, excuse me, not QMC. I apologize. Senior chief, who's probably retired by now. I apologize, senior chief. You were a senior chief by that point. What the fuck is wrong with me? Actually, I stood in her department once. I was in trouble. Fucking, I was born in trouble. I give a shit at this point. Either way, there's 3 enlisted personnel in the entire Coast Guard you would salute in normal circumstances. That's part of military etiquette. Me being stupid, knowing nothing, I would think you would salute everybody who outranks you. No, that's not the way it works. Oh, okay. You don't even salute the Master Chief of the Coast Guard. A point which was kind of hammered home to me one day when I was at A school, and somebody was making an ass of himself about how important a certain Master Chief was versus a certain enlisted or a certain ensign. Right? So yeah, some things are just understood. Got to get off that tangent for a second. All right, I want to circle back a little bit. We're going to circle back after I bring cookies. Earlier, I said that every gun-free zone has one, or every mass shooting has one thing in common. It's a gun-free zone, except Pulse. Pulse was a gun-free zone, but they had an armed guard there. The difference between Pulse and most mass shootings where another gun is present, it's a Saki joke there, Squatch, is that he knew who the armed guard was. That's the first person he aimed for. Pulse went specifically after the armed guard to take her out before she could respond. That's one of the differences. Oh, sorry guys, there it came, finally. That's one of the differences also with the top shooting from last week. He knew there was an armed guard there, or he saw the armed guard very quickly, one or the other. He probably knew because he wore body armor. I'm just going to accept the body armor story without too much pushback. Well, okay, I'm accepting it mostly because it did actually prove out to be partially true at some level. The armed guard took a shot at him. He seemed to have shrugged it off because he was wearing the body armor, and then took out the guard first. Every time they know that there's only one person with a gun, they're going to go after that guy first. They're going to do whatever it takes to go after that guy first. No, Squatch, you can't drink her. I can't even look at her. Moving right along. That is a routine pattern that you see. The difference between the Tops Market and the Pulse nightclub and Clackamas Town Center, going into Pulse and Tops, the shooter knew there was an armed guard. Going into Clackamas, he didn't realize there was another gun there. Another gun being there threw his equation completely out the window. He thought this was going to be just a straight massacre and nobody was going to touch him until he decided to go out on his own. and he hit one little tripping hazard, and he completely fell apart. And you know what? If I was Clackamas, even though my mind is clearly functional and I can think my way through this, I might have fallen apart too. Even if I decided I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory, I'm gonna be like Pulse. If I see a gun I wasn't anticipating, I might fall apart too. Be a little less likely to because of the military background. But yeah, I might just fall apart. Right now we do. Okay, Bernie says, looks as of right now, we don't know exactly where the system broke down, but we know they were 40 minutes in the air. Okay, I'm not sure what the 40 minutes is about, but I know exactly where the system broke down. I want to hit on something else as it relates to Tops and Uvalde. And this is going to cost me brownie points with some people I actually do like. I'm okay with that. They hate me anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. Mental illness may have played a factor. That could be true. I don't care. I really, really do not give a fuck if he was mentally ill, because he was not that mentally ill. Could he have legitimately not understood what he was doing? No. He knew what he was doing. He understood that it was wrong, and he acted accordingly. Tops market. He wore actual body armor. That's, I think, reasonably established, because he got shot and kept on with the mission. He was ready for it. He was mentally set for that. Okay. At Uvalde, it said he had a plate carrier. They haven't actually said this was body armor. And considering the time I got arrested, I was accused of having body armor, even though all I had was hockey, what I believed to be hockey gear at the time. No, fuck you. I want to see this so-called body armor, and I want to see the bullet holes. Oh, that's something they're never going to do. And now that it's been called out, mysteriously, some body armor is going to show up. Just like that. Oh my God, we got to find the armor. We've been called liars. We got to find the body armor. We got to find it now. We got to put it in front of the public. We never had any body armor. What are we supposed to do? We'll take body armor off of the first cop in there, the border patrol agent, and we'll say that was his armor, the shooter's armor. Hi, Gulch. It's okay. I didn't send out notifications today because I fucked up. Oh, by the way, anybody else that's late? Totally got it. I didn't send out the notifications. It's my bad. It really is. And that is how they are going to address this question of the body armor. Tops, I think, is reasonably proven. All right, let's just accept it. Uvalde, he had a carrier. I'll let you all in on a little secret. I had body armor carrier that was issued to me when I was at the PSU. When I left the PSU, they forgot to ask for the carrier back. Let you in on another secret. It wasn't an accident. The SK1 said he didn't want it back and gave me a week. He did need the vest back. He had to have the vest back. He got the plates back. It was okay. Fuck it. Also, I think that particular model of body armor, it was the Interceptor 2, I think. Those were about to go out of service anyway, so fuck it. BM3, just, don't go rob a bank with this. He didn't say it, but it was understood. Right, Bernie? By the way, I still have that plate carrier somewhere in a box. At my next unit, I actually used it to carry certain tools on me that I might need during an actual SAR case. I never actually figured out that kit fully. And I wasn't supposed to have it. Okay, I'm over it. And I just sort of kept it and never really said too much about it. Right? It's a thing. I did it. I own it. It was also on a vest that I kept separate from my issued vest, in case I ever had a real SAR case where I might know I'm going to get wet, period, and end of discussion. It is what it was, or it was what it was. Just telling me he had a plate carrier tells me absolutely nothing of value, or less than anything of value. Literally, actually, it's less than nothing of value. I had a plate carrier too, and it never once actually had a plate in it. Well, the entire time I had it anyway, never once had a plate in it. Oh, no, that's not true. It was issued to me with the plate in it, but the one time I had the opportunity to use it that way, I was told, do not bring it because of airplane weight restrictions, aircraft weight restrictions. I'm traveling on military orders, and you're telling me to leave my plates behind? Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. So the entire time I had it, never had any plates in it. Sasquatch says, can't prepare for crazy. By definition, the individual is erratic and illogical, and therefore you cannot expect rational people to be prepared. I want to highlight that one so much. And first thing I got to do is find that comment. Here we go. You can't prepare for crazy. By definition, the individual is erratic and illogical. Therefore, you cannot expect rational people to be prepared. Back around 2004, I think it was. I was on a website. This is obviously pre-Facebook and pre-MySpace and all of that. Okay, I'm going to clear that. I was telling the story about how I was ordered to destroy a life raft. The instructions were quite clear. Not just me. We were using this life raft as a training opportunity because it was like 3 months from must be destroyed, no end of discussion. If it's not gone in 3 months, somebody's getting booked. Point. All right. That means we have plenty of time to destroy it. Right. So rather than just toss it in a trash can, which actually would not have met the standard either, but consider that later. The chief had a training opportunity. We took it off the boat. We put it on the shore because of certain safety considerations. Hey, why put it in the water and test it if we can test it on the land, since it's just a familiarization drill anyway? Pulled the lanyard until it went pop. Now we have this nice life raft sitting on the shore. Okay. All of us were told to get in and go through once just to see what it would be like in there, and then get out. And then we were told exactly how to cut it so that it would not be retrievable by any rational person. Okay. So far, so good. This is all simple things, all very reasonable. The chief actually told us he wanted to cut like this, and he told us destroyed in such a way that no rational person would ever attempt to reuse it. Okay. I'm on this website, and I actually tell a story, and I said something to the effect of, because you cannot treat an irrational person with a rational mind, or something like that. One of the people there that hated me so much that all he wanted to do was live long enough to dance on my grave had to acknowledge that, yeah, Carrie is right. You cannot reason with an irrational person under any circumstances. And at that point, all you can do is forcibly stop them. Top's market was not irrational. He could not be irrational because he was able to think in advance and prepare for eventualities that might come up or would come up. He might have known already. I don't know that there was an armed guard there. Either way, he was fully prepared to deal with those. An irrational person is incapable of doing that. That is why I dismiss the question of his sanity. I don't care. Maybe he was insane. I don't care. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's moot. San Bernardino obviously was not irrational. Dedicated, yes. Extremist, yes. Evil, yes. Clearly, they were quite sane because they were not only able to operate in a rational fashion, but in coordination. They worked together. Yes, it's a husband-wife team. Okay, fine. But I don't care. They clearly were in no way irrational. I dismiss the rationality questions for the Batman shooter. He had armor on, right? Or at least what he believed to be armor. That when I got arrested, I had what I believed to be hockey armor on. Turns out it might have been a little more serious than hockey, but okay, fine. So I was acting in a rational fashion. I knew what I was doing. Pulse nightclub was clearly operating in a rational fashion. He went off after the only threat first. An irrational person cannot think that way. They're going to randomly get a gun and randomly go and do the thing that they're going to do. They're not going to drive 3 hours. They're not capable of thinking, drive 3 hours. They're not capable of thinking, get body armor. They're not capable of thinking any kind of plan, or at very most, the most minimal plan. The Stockton shooting may have been irrational, an irrationally driven mind. There's no evidence that I've ever seen that he did anything resembling planning. He just walked up to that school and started shooting. That's it. Okay. Maybe he was irrational. I can't prove he was. Those of you who maybe know more about that case, let me know. Don't be afraid to correct me. Please, if I'm wrong, correct me. And do so rudely if you have to. I don't give a shit right now. Because I don't want to believe that Stockton was irrational. I just don't have anything to prove otherwise. It's kind of that simple. Let me think. Sandy Hook was not acting in an irrational fashion. He knew what he may have been psychologically impaired, that he was compelled to act. Okay, well, fine. That does not absolve guilt. He went and killed his mother to get the gun. He opened the safe, which means he had to think his way through the safe. He went from that location to the school. He shot his way into the school. Are you seeing how he had to take steps and think his way through these steps? Last Tuesday, I mentioned a foyer and never followed up. I'm going to do it now. Schools are gun-free zones. Nobody there is supposed to have a gun, kind of, well, unless you're a sworn peace officer. When Sandy Hook went to force his way into the building, he shot his way in. That alerted at least 2 adults that something was wrong. If either one of them had been armed, they could have stopped this right then and there. All right. And people might have been hurt in the process of stopping this right then and there. That's unfortunate. A child may have died in the process of stopping it right then and there. That would also have been unfortunate. That would not have been on them. That would not have been on the secretary and principal, which is what I understood it to be. It would have been on the shooter. He brought the violence. And for all we know, correction, in that situation, we absolutely would have known. Let's just go a little bit crazy here. The secretary and the principal both shoot at this little son of a bitch, right? Both of them, their bullets strike and kill a child. Okay. We also know that kid would have been, those kids would have been dead anyway, because the shooter would have gotten into that classroom and killed everybody. That is the fact. At least arming the staff would have given them a chance to stop it, to slow it down, to do something to change this equation. Could have been stopped in the foyer, and instead it was finally stopped when he made a choice to stop it. Fuck you, Susan. I mean, love you, Susan. Now we have it all over again. It's another classroom full of bodies. Could have been stopped in the foyer. And instead, it finally stopped when a Border Patrol agent showed up about a minute later. A minute is a long, long time when you're being shot at. And if you don't believe me, go to any range while it's active. Close your eyes and start a stopwatch with your eyes closed and listen to how many gunshots you hear. Even though you know you're perfectly safe, how many gunshots do you hear in that 1 minute? That's a long fucking time. I've never had to complete that drill because I was the shooter. This was at a range. Apple, relax. I had to shoot for 1 minute to get a specific number of bullets within a specific range of, well, I had to get a score within 1 minute. Did not make the score. Oh well, I'm over it. Either way, that's a long fucking time. And you're sitting there thinking, God damn, I can't hit this thing. I can't even fucking see it. Well, no, it's because I couldn't see it. And I was too proud to admit I needed glasses there. Bernie said, schools after the first shooting implemented having law enforcement throughout the school district, at least in my town, but there are failures by school officials. The truth has yet to be revealed. Okay. Bernie, keep me advised on what's going on. Either way, it doesn't matter. Why is there only one armed guard? All having one armed guard tells me, as a would-be school shooter, is who to watch out for and either go after first or wait until he passes the door I'm going to go through and checks and sees that it's still closed, not realizing that I know how to jimmy that lock faster than you could say it. Jimmy that lock. I don't want to go into too many details. I don't want to write a mass shooter's manual for them. But I know how easy it is to make 99% of the school door locking mechanisms and hospital, by the way, locking mechanisms fail. I tested it. I didn't even fucking believe this was true. All right. I thought somebody was blowing smoke up my ass, and I tried it, and it worked. And oh, shit! This building is wide fucking open. Okay, Bernie. Yeah, I understand. Unless you happen to be in that area, in which case I don't want you to say anything right now. Email me. Don't say anything in the chat, please. And if you're not, don't say anything in the chat either. I don't want people asking you questions about this, one way or the other. I don't want them to know whether they could ask you those questions. Moving right along. I know how easy it is to bypass those locks. I didn't even believe it until I actually tried. I saw somebody else do it, and I thought they were fucking with me. That the guy who can deactivate any lock in the building was sitting at the console, because the console's within view of the door in question where I tried this. He was sitting there pushing the unlock button. I actually made him put his hands up where I could see them so that I could try it. I tried it. It worked. Oh. It kind of gets worse. How do I say this without saying it? Certain types of locks are easily confused. I know one of the bigger tricks to confusing those locks. All I would have to do is wait for the school resources officer to walk by, walk out of sight, trick the door into thinking it's supposed to be open now. It pops open, I'm in, and I'm off and running. You may not like it, but the Chicago principal, Principal Joe, played by Morgan Freeman. God damn it, I cannot remember his real name. If somebody can, please drop it in the chat so I can apologize properly. But he was right. He put chains on the doors and padlocks on the chains. And the nearest instructor to that emergency exit was the only person on Earth who had the key to that chain. That was a secured building. I would have done it a little bit differently, sir. But Squatch asked, have you ever noticed that the SRO is always a defunct deputy? No, I haven't. Mine growing up. Well, let's see. One was a medically retired. The rumor was he was medically retired writing police. The one around here is not a medically retired. She still wears the county sheriff's uniform. Correction. Her Patches County uniform, is the county sheriff, but it has the school resources rocker underneath. The rocker separate patch underneath it. Her badge says school resources. She's not even medically retired. She could be swapped out of there back to patrol, which from a couple of the rumors I've heard is what she's actually trying to do. She doesn't want to be there. And we don't know why. She wants to go back to patrol, and it's probably a money thing. I do know that the school resources officer, because it's considered a slack duty, easy job, it's paid $500 less a month. It's also it's not just a rumor. She's being sexually harassed by some of the students. Right. And it's mostly the wolf whistles and the "if only I was 18" type comments. That's true. They had to suspend a student over that. You know what? I've seen her photo. If I was 16 and stupid, I'd be making all those comments too. I'm not 16 and stupid anymore. She is. She's legitimately hot. But I think it's more about the money. She's also a big, tough girl, and she's the one that dealt with him. Okay. That's the truth. Okay, the old guy, the rookie, or the deputy. Our case, he was mostly blind. Okay, that's not good. It's rarely the most competent officer. Dispatch wants deputies on the beat, wants good deputies on the beat. That may be true. My understanding is ours is not overwhelmingly competent, far from underwhelmingly incompetent. I don't know what the story there is. I don't care. I didn't ask. And I'm not asking for a reason I don't want to know. When I was at Shasta College, our campus security was a retired highway patrolman. She retired after a couple of years after she had her first baby, and she realized she couldn't be a mother and a cop at the same time. It just wasn't working out like she had hoped. She left the highway patrol and went on what she thought at the time would be a part-time job, turned into a full-time job as her kids got older. My daughter has two. My old guy with a limp, the other guy maybe 20, looks 14 in cosplay. Okay, how do you know that? Hey, New York Outcast is here and has redacted a comment. But I can still find out what he said. Good evening, everyone. Rob, that was not a bad word at all. Why did you take that back? On average, one teacher a day gets busted sleeping with a student. Now, okay, that may be true. I don't follow those stats. Good afternoon. Okay, that's why you retracted it. Guys, you only have to retract a comment if you said something that might get you in trouble, right? And it's kind of too late. The stream is part of the permanent record. Moving right along. Rob, I would love to talk to you off a stream about something. Believe it or not, you and I have something in common related to firearms that has absolutely nothing to do with this. So, if you're willing, I think you follow Ghost. Just consider it, right? Right. Moving right along. What happened to New Vault? How do I put this politely? I don't. This was a conspiracy to commit murder between Joe Biden and other gun control supporters. And I own my share of that debt, that crime. Without getting too far into the details, I don't accept any blame for anything after Pulse nightclub, because as of that day, you know what? I've been saying for 2 years at that bare minimum. 2 years at that point, things like this is going to happen. We need to change our policies. Here it is having happened again. No, fuck you. I'm not accepting blame for every kidnapping on Earth just because I said in the past that we can stop kidnappings by having kids on leashes, and realizing that's a really stupid analogy, and it's also wrong. But you follow me. At some point, I got to stop saying, yes, I accept responsibility for this, because I don't. I didn't do this. I said do something different. I will do that, Rob. I did not realize it was there. Okay, moving right along. Where was I? Oh, right. This was a conspiracy to commit mass murder by Joe Biden. And I'm naming names here. He knew what was going to happen. He chose to continue with the failed experiment anyways. I'd give him credit. 91, maybe it was. It seemed like a good idea. It seemed like this would work. And then 91 comes along, and we realize, no, actually, it's not working. Okay. You made a mistake then. To continue the mistake until 2022, 30 years later, and you're still singing the same tune and going back and saying we need, excuse me, not this has failed, we need to try something else. No. Singing the exact same tune and then leaning into it. No, you don't get to claim ignorance anymore. You knew what was going to happen and you did it anyway. No, fuck you. Now it's absolutely malicious. And the media that needs the money from view time, God forbid they don't get those Nielsen, right? Don't get the Benjamins that Nielsen gets them. Sweeps week's coming. Can't go on vacation with you, Daddy. $1 to the first person who can tell me where I got that one. Either way, there is no eloquent way to put this into Daetslov, and I acknowledge that. I accept it. If it were up to me, somehow there would be in there a section that says you cannot talk about a shooting outside of the viewing area and listening area for the television radio stations that cover that area. Let's take let's take Uvalde for example. Okay, Uvalde, Texas has a local television station. They've got to have somebody that covers them by what used to be UHF or VHF, both. Fuck it. They have to have at least one radio station that covers the area. Okay. They have to have a sheriff in that county that would issue Amber Alert, be the first to issue Amber Alerts and related activity. Okay, fine. You don't have a student at that school. Really, you shouldn't be hearing about this at all. But okay, it is what it is. There's no getting around putting that onto TV, onto radio, onto Amber Alerts, and have people that don't have children in school or grandchildren or something, someone that they should care about, hear about it. I get it. I understand. It's unfortunate. People who don't need to hear about it because they happen to live in that area will hear about it just as assuredly as in the Middle Ages, people who don't need to hear about how the king has called for all able-bodied men to report to the mines will hear it when the town crier goes to when the crier goes to the town square and calls upon all able-bodied men. Well, I'm a woman, so I can't. He's not calling me, but I still heard the announcement. Right, that is what it is. It doesn't affect her, or not an elderly man, whatever. Somebody that it doesn't affect, but he still heard it. Okay, it is what it is. If you can think of a way to put that in there that would be eloquent, go ahead and correct me. I'm all ears. Rob said, New York Outcast. A lot of this falls back to bad parenting, in my opinion. And he's right. Not all of it, but a whole fucking lot of it. Everyone isn't special, and the world doesn't revolve around you, them. And you're not special. I'm not special. None of us are fucking special. Right? All this PC crap has made the general public soft. Soft people do crazy stuff to lash out. Okay, that might be part of it. And maybe this little fucking son of a bitch was just evil. And that's it. He's just plain fucking evil. I don't care. I really don't. Rob, you missed it, but I went on a rant specifically about how few fucks I give that he may have had some sort of mental illness because it's not germane. It's totally irrelevant. And either way, we're right back where we were before. You keep raising that bar and it doesn't do any good. Oh, since I'm naming names, I want to point out Robert O'Rourke, better known as Beto O'Rourke, crashed Tony Abbott. Governor Abbott's press conference on this, screaming and shouting at him about when are you going to finally do something? Shut the fuck up, you lying little... I almost said it. I caught myself. You lying little cocksucker. Shut the fuck up, you lying little cocksucker. You created this situation, Beta. You pushed for these same laws. You pushed to seed these same laws. You flat out said, hell yeah, I'm coming for your AR-15 and your AK-47. What was the other one, guys? Oh, hi. Welcome back, Boa. Razorfist has a top video on this topic. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm not a big fan of Razorfish. Excuse me, I apologize. Let me try that one again. I'm not a big fan of Razor Fist. That doesn't mean he's wrong. And maybe I need to go back and watch it. Maybe I need to watch it, period. I try to avoid him. He strikes me as smug, arrogant, condescending little shitbag. And of everybody in the chat right now, New York Outcast knows what that word means. What that word really means. I think that's it. Oh, Warsaw Patriot, I'm sorry I forgot you were here. My bad. Okay. I think that's everybody I know understands that. What that word really means. Yeah, I'm even less a fan of Styx. I had definitely know of Styx, though. And my opinion of Razor Fist and Styx should in no way influence your decision about to or not to follow them. And that's not sarcasm. That's not facetious. That's not me saying but not saying. Don't let my opinion of them as people affect your decision. That would be absolutely inappropriate for me to go there. And no, Beto has the answer to no problem on earth. He can't even answer 2 + 2 correctly. At least Styx and Razor Fist know what 2 + 2 is. Calm yourself, Carrie. You get so angry, Carrie. What is such a problem, Carrie? Why are you so mad, Carrie? Okay. And it was Bo points out, Styx has made comments about elections since before 2016, 2014, 2012, I think. And it was like 99% or well, 75%. My sarcasm set you out. Bernie, believe me, you had nothing to do with that. This anger has been on a very short leash for the last 3 days. Well, okay, we're going into day 3 now. We're going into day 2. Last 2 nights, all right? I've wanted to fucking explode and drop F-bombs every third word. I have 2 videos that will never, ever see the light of day. I think I deleted one off my computer. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck. I tried to address this. I tried to address it once with a script because the first time when I just tried to freeform it like I normally do, I degenerated into a spluttering, F-bomb dropping mess. Okay, no, this is not going to work. Try again. And I did try again. I really did. I voice to texted to my phone, then put that into an email, and I still degenerated into a spluttering mess, but that's okay. I can handle the spluttering mess in the email if I could copy and paste it into a Word, take all the bad words out, and try again. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't fucking control my mouth because I'm so furious. I actually said after the Tops incident how I want that individual executed, right? It's a very specific and horrible and nasty process that I would be ashamed of. No, actually, I wouldn't be ashamed of under any circumstances, but I could have faked it enough for Instagram, and no, Instagram almost nuked my account because I said those words. I said this of somebody who deserves to be executed. Now, if Instagram could get that upset about me talking about somebody who deserves to be executed. What do you think Apple's going to do? So those two videos, the one can never see the light of day. I know I deleted it because I emptied the trash right away, knowing what I had just done. The other one will never see the light of day. Hold on to that thought. And I'm not talking about Beto's execution, by the way. I'm talking about the top shooter execution. This was not as specifically painful as Cheese Bear's idea about ants, but it would have taken much longer and would have involved. Oh, I may have talked about this last week, actually. I did. I think I did on the live stream last week. Maybe I can get away with that on YouTube, but I'm not gonna test my luck today. All right. I'm pretty much at Apple's breaking point today anyway. So well, I don't have to antagonize her just because I can. Either way, I'm all for a very torture as part of the execution. I think was the part I could get away with. Okay, moving right along. There is no such thing as a kind of execution good enough for Uvalde. It doesn't exist, right? So my counter thought there would be to put him in a chair, hook him up to a TENS machine. TENS is a specific piece of medical equipment, and I forgot what the letters stand for, but basically it's a shock device. Don't ask me how I became familiar with TENS devices. Okay, if you've been around a while, you got a clue what I just said. But you can get them up pretty high, and oh yeah, by the way, without modifying the equipment, you cannot kill somebody with this thing. And honestly, I don't think you could modify the equipment that far without just straight up cutting the electrical cord to begin with. I strap him to a wooden chair with no varnish, by the way, because sometimes varnishes are electrically conductive. Put one on his left ankle, put one on his right shoulder. By the way, Apple, what I'm about to say does not involve this little, I almost said it again, the F word, the other F word, doesn't involve killing him. He'll live. And then every 20 minutes, turn it down and then turn it back up. Leave him like that for 12 hours a day, every day for the rest of his life. And live stream it and hook him up to an IV so that he doesn't die of malnutrition or dehydration. I'm all for it. I'm down. This is a good plan. You shoot up a school full of kids and are taken alive. That's how you will die. Strapped to a chair for 40 years on a TENS machine. You got to wonder if any of the recent shooters were gassed up by the FBI online. The timing seems strange to me. I doubt that, Rob. I do. I doubt that. I think that they just fell into legions of monsters. They wanted that high score. They wanted that notoriety. Guys, I'll tell you all the truth. When I was in high school, I had these kind of fantasies. Well, those kind of fantasies didn't involve fourth graders. It involved high schoolers. But I had those fantasies. I didn't act on them because I realized that this was stupid. Absolutely insane. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to drop some truth bombs on you you may not be ready for. Everybody has suicide fantasies. That's normal. Everybody has rape fantasies. That's normal. When it comes to the latter, males tend to have one kind and females tend to have a different kind. Just is what it is. Doesn't mean you would ever do it, right? You also have fantasies about robbing banks and becoming a world-class chef or astronaut or whatever. Doesn't mean it's ever going to happen. It doesn't mean you're ever going to even try to follow up on it. It's a fantasy. It's in your head and it never leaves. It's not supposed to leave your head. This little fucker, his fantasy left his head. And that is a big, big problem. I didn't even know you had another channel, Squatch. Unless you're talking about Skytroll. So I think this, Rob specifically, I think this fantasy left his head. And it left his head because he saw what happened at Tops and said, I can do better. And I know exactly how to do better. No, Rob, that's not good enough. They'll kill him. His problems will be over. I don't want his problems over. Ever. Right. Oh, bye, Boa. I was just about to say, I want him to suffer so badly that even Boa outlives him. I want him to give up the will to live. I don't want him executed. Now, moving right along. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that, Rob. Mermaids, they kill sailors in legend, at least. But hey, you know what? You do you, bro. All right, I'm gonna stop the chat because, all right, this week I'm going to cover something I was supposed to do last week. Get home bags. I ran into a situation this week, actually, that would have proved ironic. Now, always have about $50 where you can get to it. And don't have it as a $50 bill. Have it as smaller bills, preferably fives. All right. My card got deactivated last week, since my last, or earlier this week, since my last stream at least. I think it was Saturday, actually. I couldn't use my card. Now, fortunately, I was kind of following my own advice, except I had some 20s, which made life a little less easy for me. I still had some operating cash to work from. I should change some of those 20s for 10s. It's as simple as that. But have them in a place where no sane and rational person would ever think to look for them. And no, ladies, you can't just put it in your bra. They know to look there. And believe me, they'll look there anyways. I don't care how fat, old, and ugly you are. They will reach into your bra and grab your tits just as an act of spite. Don't put it in your sock. They know to look there too. At some level, you just got to be creative beyond anything I can say. Okay. Share a screen. Microsoft Edge? No, a window. My bad. Daetslov. Act. Because you are about to see in real time a change to Daetslov Act. Any firearm with a stock or intended to be fired from the shoulder, for which the barrel length shall be 16 inches in length or greater, and an overall length of 26 inches or greater. Shotgun any smoothbore 18 inches in length or 26 inches or greater in the configuration as used. Ladies and gentlemen, you can thank the U.S. Army for this. Their adoption of the MCX Spear with an 8-inch variant for flying fuck was the term they used. Basically, combat personnel other than infantry, engineers, medics, tankers, shit, fucked if I know, bosun's mates. Hey, you know what? Yeah, bosun's mates, etc. Means that these two sections are now obsolete. Now, I was going there on my own. I've been floating it out there for a long time. If you had a better number than 16 inches, and I was highly negotiable, I wanted to hear it. Well, when the Army adopted that 8-inch barrel for those combat specialists, specialist personnel, I think was the term they used, they set the standard for what a barrel length is before it's too small to be usable. 8 inches strikes me as really, really short. So from 16 inches to 8 inches, literally splitting exactly the difference is, watch this shit, 12 inches overall length, 22 inches. This new number, 22 inches or greater, is also not fixed in stone yet. I figured splitting the difference would be the most reasonable because, 1 foot long barrel, that's pretty short, guys. All right. You can't really conceal that. If you can make the case to go shorter other than, well, the Army said so, I'll hear it out. For right now, that 12 inches is my number. That 22 inches is still negotiable. And we're still, shotgun will read basically the exact same way with the difference of smoothbore firearm intended to discharge a number of smaller projectiles. So 12 and 22. You saw it here first, and that should be the save. There we go. Share screen. I really wish Ghost had made it today, but it's my own fault for not sending him an invite. What the flying fuck shits? No. Oh, damn it. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I must have closed. Yeah, I closed it. Pop out chats. And I don't have a whole lot of time to fix it properly. So it'll be a little limited this time. I am farting, people. Okay. Squatch says, in Florida, they get hammered in bars. Okay. New York Outcast says, cash is king. Hell with plastics. I avoid cards personally. That's not a practicality here. I've never needed a middleman or babysitter for my cash. Well, neither do I, but I need to be able to access cash, bare minimum. So there is that. Bernie says he's invested in precious metals. You didn't need to finish that sentence, believe me. We know what that means. Rob says, if you don't secure it, you shouldn't count on it. And Squatch has agreed. which is why I use credit for assets. I use fictional monies to purchase real assets, then realize profits to pay off credit. Squatch, there was a time to make jokes and a time to be serious, please. This was a time to be serious. Right, you saw here first, guys. My mind was changed. If you can make a case for a shorter barrel, hell, feel free to explain it to me. I'll listen. If you want to make a case for a shorter overall length, don't be afraid. I'm inviting those comments. I actually want to hear it. I was always bothered by this 16 and 26 story. It was never based on something that I could identify as, oh, okay, they came to this conclusion this way, right? 18-inch minimum shotgun barrel length. Where did this come from? Did it come from static testing of shotguns that below 18 inches, they lose efficacy? Nobody's ever explained it. The best I can actually say is that it appears maybe during World War II, trench guns were cut down to perhaps as much as 18 inches, a foot and a half. Okay. Well, I kind of get that. Where are you going with this? Does this affect combat utility? What? Explain it to me. Nobody ever has. Nobody seems to know now. All right. At least the $200 limit of the NFA's stamp tax, multiple people have explained where this number came from. And it seems to be very, very taunt. The more I try to break this story, the more it stays intact. Normally, if it's not true, it falls apart pretty quickly. You find at least one person who says, oh, no, it came this other way. Oh, that's a consideration. No. Even the one that it came this other way, well, that doesn't mean the other one's not true. Right? The $200 stamp tax came from, that was the price of a Thompson submachine gun. This is the story that most people float. Okay. Some people try to say, well, no. It came because that exceeded the average person's income in 1928, I think it was. Well, okay. So the average person couldn't afford a Thompson submachine gun. So what? I've seen ads for Thompson submachine guns, $200. And unless somebody took a lot of time to forge a 1920s Thompson ad, and I mean a lot of time, they even smeared and blurred it so that it looked like it had been scanned or photographed in the last couple of years from an original print. Unless somebody took the time to do that much forging, that is a consistent statement. If it was not really set by that Thompson price tag, it would have fallen apart by now. So I can be convinced otherwise. I would like to carry my AK in my pocket. Squatch, that is not actually a joke. You can do that. I am not the guy to turn to get that information. That would actually be Fit and Fire has forgotten more about that subject than I think I'll ever learn in my life. Fixed Bayonets has a AK variant that's so short it wouldn't qualify by barrel length. Fortunately for her, it is a pistol variant, does not have those limitations. And she can't pocket carry it. It's not even really a holster that's practical for her, but she can carry it very, very well concealed. It's also one of the reasons why Daetslov has a prohibition for magazines under 10 rounds for long arms. I'm just saying. 30 round 7.62 convenient carry on economy, fun sized. Okay. You got an AK bottle up here? I have an opinion about the AK-47. And the AK-47, not the 74, the Dragunov, or any of the others. I don't know enough about them to know what I don't know. The AK-47, I have an opinion of. It's not a good gun for armies. Just saying. All right. So, for your get-home bag, have a quantity of money, and whether it's $50 or $20. Not as $20 bills, because you can't break a $20 bill in an emergency. You want to have smaller bills. Also, you hide them different places so that they take one place while you still got some backup. On the subject of money, and specifically bartering, I think everybody knows that I smoke. Love you, Susan. If you are a smoker, always have a spare pack in your get-home bag. If you are not, have a spare pack in your get-home bag anyways. If you're a non-smoker, you could give your pack, rotate it out about once a month, right? Whatever system you come up with, rotate it out, the old pack out about once a month. Maybe give it to a coworker who smokes. They'll love you for it. Either way, the day has come and you need to get home. Take the pack, tamp it, or have your smoker buddy tamp it for you. Before you start marching home, take 2 out. Throw one away. Just throw it in the gutter. Don't worry about it. Flip the other one over, slide it back in, close it, and then leave it somewhere where it can be seen. Ladies, you can put your pack of cigarettes in your bra, right? You're good to go there. Everybody knows women do it. It's not a problem. That's also where they very often carry their cell phone. Ladies, totally okay with that. You come up to a checkpoint. If it's manned by professionals, cops, firefighters, something like that, probably okay. Show them your ID and just keep on. As long as you're not going something that doesn't make any sense at all, tell them you're just going home. You'll be fine, generally speaking. If you come up to an Antifa or BLM checkpoint, make sure that your cigarettes can be seen. I'm just going to put this the way it is. Those thugs, those little bastards, 100% of the time there will be a smoker there. You give him a cigarette, he will let you go. Give him 2, he'll love you forever. He will remember you 10 years later when he's being released from prison. Oh, yeah, there was that really cool chick. She gave me a couple cigarettes and I let her go. Not after realizing that that's what you had done. Oh. Yeah, Squatch, not Squatch, Rob, I get it too. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be transitioning from AR-15 to MCX because of logistics. That pack of cigarettes might be just what gets you past the checkpoint to get you home. That's my goal. Get you home for now. Get you home. That's it. Okay. Then I got to get you home. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up there, partially because I got to pee. And partially because coming up on the top of the hour, Squatch, go eat. 9017 is coming, whether you like it or not. We've already had what amounts to 3 test runs. Get your get home bag ready and be ready at bare minimum just to get home. And until next week, keep calm and mandatory carry on. Love you. Oh, for fuck's sake. Guys, if you can see this, I can't disconnect because I'm having trouble with my internet connection. So that's a law. Hi, DM. Hiding there, were you? Okay, plan B.